This spreadsheet shows a mathematically perfect feed ration. A nutritionist calculated the exact ratio of grain, roughage, protein, and minerals down to the decimal point to meet the herd's specific requirements. But cattle do not eat formulas off a screen. They eat the physical feed dropped into the bunk. For that precision math to actually work, the feed mill has to turn a digital specification into a physical reality. The real challenge starts with low inclusion ingredients, like vitamins, feed additives, or concentrated minerals. We are adding a few pounds of this concentrated powder to several tons of bulky grain and roughage. Weighing the correct amount of that supplement into the mixer is only half the job. That is inclusion. The other half is distribution, mechanically forcing that small cup of material to spread evenly throughout the entire massive batch. When that happens successfully, you achieve ration uniformity. That means every representative mouthful a steer takes contains a sufficiently similar nutritional profile, delivering the exact diet the nutritionist intended. Without that uniformity, the tightest nutritional calculations fall apart. The mixer is the final bridge between the math on the page and the health of the animal. This optimization curve tracks how time impacts quality. The bottom left is undermixing. Stopping the process early leaves scattered, localized pockets instead of a consistent blend. In the pen, one animal consumes a concentrated, harmful dose of supplement, while the next gets absolutely nothing. This failure isn't always from cutting the clock short. In an overloaded mixer, the machine chokes and material lacks free space to circulate. The same bottleneck happens with random loading sequences. Heavy wet materials trap light dry ones, creating unblendable stagnant layers. The scale ticket might show that the right amount of every ingredient went into the mixer, but inside the tank, the distribution is entirely broken. Knowing this, operators often develop a natural reflex. If a little mixing is good, leaving the machine running for an extra 10 minutes guarantees the job is done. Let's bring that curve back. Pushing past the peak enters the overmixing zone. Extra time provides zero additional nutritional benefit. Instead, it generates hidden costs, massive fuel waste, accelerated equipment wear, and stalled schedules across dozens of loads. It can also damage the feed itself. Roughage provides essential physical scratch factor for cattle digestion. Prolonged mechanical action acts like a blender, progressively shattering long stems into a fine dust and stripping the ration of its structural value. You might wonder why we can't mandate a universal 5-minute timer for every feed mill to perfectly thread the needle between under and overmixing. Because feed mills are physical environments. Over time, auger flighting wears down. Mixer knives go dull. Moisture content fluctuates between seasons. The exact same timer setting that produced a perfect mix 3 years ago might produce a severely separated batch today. A timer only proves how many minutes a machine consumed. It is completely blind to the actual physical quality of the ration inside the drum. To locate the exact center point on this optimization curve, feed mills rely on a specific diagnostic tool, mixer uniformity testing. The process works by running a batch under normal conditions, then pulling physical samples from 5 to 7 distinct points throughout the load. Those samples are sent to a lab to test the concentration of a specific marker ingredient. The lab calculates the coefficient of variation, or CV. If the concentrations across all those widely spaced samples are nearly identical, generating a very low CV percentage, it proves the mixer achieved excellent distribution. If the test fails, indicating high variation, the correct response is not to blindly add more mixing time. The response is to investigate the variables, checking for worn paddles, auditing the sequence in which ingredients were loaded, or making sure the batch size isn't choking the augers. Once the ideal variables are confirmed, they are locked into a standard operating procedure. You standardize the loading sequence, measure the performance, verify the CV, correct any mechanical wear, and then repeat. This continuous cycle removes human guesswork. It ensures the ration reaches the exact same uniformity, whether it's the first batch of a Monday morning or the final load on a busy Friday. The most effective feed mixer isn't the one that runs the longest. It's the one embedded in a precisely engineered process that hits the sweet spot, batch after batch.